Hello, this is Siberius Gande, the CEO of Gasafinap Enterprise. Today, I want to take us through how we can formulate a good soap recipe. So the steps involves in finding in formulating a good soap recipe are how to formulate a good recipe. So the steps involves are one, you have to find the capacity of our mold, in other words, the volume. Then step two, you have to find the quantity of oil required. So I need the quantity of oil required. Step three, you also have to find the quantity of lye. In this case, the lye that we'll be using caustic soda for this exercise. We have the lye, we have two types of caustic soda, and we have what we call caustic potash. So but we'll be using the caustic soda for this exercise. Then step four, we also have to know how we can superfat our soup. To superfat means we have to add some small amount of oil to the soup, to the original quantity of oil that we need, so that the soup, when you use it on your skin, it will not be too dry on the skin. And if you don't superfat, sometimes after using it to bath, your body will be dried, and it can even cause some reaction. So we have to be assured that the caustic soda that we are using, or the lye that we are using, there will not be any leftover lye that will not be consumed by the oil. Then step five, we also have to determine the quantity of water needed to dissolve our caustic soda. Then the last one, other additives that we'll be adding to the soap, additives like the color, the perfume that we may want to add to the soap. Those ones, step six is not necessary actually, because without color and then perfume, it's still soap, but we want it to smell nicely and then maybe to beautify it with the color. And some of the tools that we'll be needing for this exercise are: we need our soap mold. There are different types of soap mold, but we are just going to use this for the purpose of this exercise. We need a tape measure. We need a record sheet or a book, an exercise book for that purpose. Then we also need a pen that we'll use to write our records. And we also need a calculator. For the calculation purposes. Now let's measure the dimension. Let's take the dimensions of our soap mold so that we can find the capacity. So first of all, find the length. And the length is giving us 58. Here, 58 centimeters. That is 58 centimeters. That is, when you are measuring, we take the internal dimension. So that is 58 centimeters. Then we take the width or the breadth. Or the width. So we are having here, that is 18. We have here 10. So plus 3, making 13. Then we say 13. It's not up to 14, so 13. Let's say 13 and a half. So let's take the breadth as 13 and a half. So we have 10, then plus 3, and then half, 13 and a half. Then we also measure the depth. The depth, or some will call it the height, so is 8 centimeters. Let's take note of this. In our calculation, we'll be using centimeters, we'll be using grams and mils. So when we talk of centimeter cube, centimeter cube is equal to centimeter times centimeter times centimeter. So centimeter times centimeter times centimeter will give us centimeter cube. And the measurement we took the measurement in centimeters. So, but when we are weighing our ingredients, we may not necessarily use centimeter cube, but we may use maybe mils or may use grams. So 1 centimeter cube is approximately equal to 1 mil, which is also approximately equal to 1 gram. Okay, so to find our mold capacity or the volume of our mold, just as we've taken the measurement, our length gave us 58 centimeters, then our breadth or our width gave us 13.5 centimeters, then the depth or the height gave us 8 centimeters. So our mold capacity or our volume will give us is equal to length times the breadth times the depth. So this will give us 58 centimeters times 13.5 centimeters times 8, and that will give us a total of 6264 centimeter cube, or 6264 mils, or 6264 grams. Okay, step 2. Step 2, we'll find our quantity of oil required. And then we've already found step 1, the mole capacity, which gave us 6, our mole capacity gave us 6264 grams. Now to find the quantity of oil required is the quantity of oil required is equal to 70% of the mole capacity. So 70% of the mole capacity, and the mole capacity gave us 6264 grams. So 70% of 6264 grams, that gives us 70 divided by 100 multiplied by 6264. And the quantity of oil required, which is 70% of the mole capacity, will give us 70 over 100 times our mole capacity, which is 6264 grams. So, and this will give us 4384.8 grams. So in this case, if you are using one type of oil for your production, let's say you are using only palm kernel oil for your production, it means you will need 4384.8 grams, or when we round it up, that will give us 4385 grams of oil, so that we'll be able to produce our soap to fill our mold capacity of 6264 centimeter cube. Okay, but there are situations where you may need more than one. Probably you want to use a combination of oil. You want to combine different type of oils. So you want to use coconut oil, palm kernel oil, palm oil, shea butter. So let's see how we can combine different type of oil to produce our soap. In fact, the best soap to produce should have more than one type of oil, because every oil has its own properties. Now let's see, if you're using more than one type of oil, let's say in your formulation you want to use 4 different type of oils. So you're using palm oil, you want to use 40% of the total amount of oil, or the total volume of oil required. You want to use PQ, that's palm kernel oil, you want to use 30%, coconut oil, you want to use 20%, then shea butter, you want to use 10%. So you want to combine this four type of oil to make your soup. And before you even decide on these figures, you have to study the different type of oil to see how they behave in the soup, because some of the oil, when you use it for your soap production, it make your soap hard, some make your soap soft, some also make your soap lather, some does not have much lather. So you have to study their behaviors and their sub values before you even come out of the type of oil you will be needing, the percentages, the quantities that you need to formulate your soup. Okay, so having decided on these percentages, and then this will give us a total of 100%. So it means our 70% of the mole capacity that we had will give us 4,438.8 grams. This is now taken as 100% of the oil that we'll be using for our production. So 40% plus 30% plus 20 plus 10, this will give us 100%. So we have 40 plus 30 will give us 70%, plus this will give us 90%, plus 10 will give us 100%. So that should give us the total amount of oil that we'll be needing. So with the quantities of oil that we'll be needing, we said to be using 40% of palm oil. So our palm oil will give us 40 over 100 multiplied by 4384.8 grams. 4384.8 grams, and that will give us a total of 1753.92 grams, and that is for the palm oil. So let's see our palm kernel oil, that PKO. We said we'll be needing 30%, so that will give us 30 over 100 times our total volume of oil, 4384.8 grams, and this will also give us 1315.8 grams. Then when we take the coconut oil, we said we will use 20%, so that will give us 20 over 100 times 4384.8 grams, and this will also give us 876.96 grams. So our shea butter, we said we will be using 10%, then 10% of our total volume, which is 10 over 100 times 4384.8 grams. So this will also give us 438.48 grams.